Hello everyone. Today I will be describing a lesson plan designed for teaching young learners. This specific lesson plan focuses on teaching rooms of the house. First I will introduce the lesson plan aims, then we will look at the lesson plan procedure. On this I will share my opinion of such stages. Finally, close with my conclusion. To start off, this lesson plan is aimed for primary learners ages 8 to 10 and has a length of 40 minutes to 1 hour. The aims of this lesson are to practice naming and describing different rooms and some common household objects. Next, students take a quiz to become familiar with new vocabulary. Another aim is for students to make posters with magazine cutouts. Also, students need to describe their own house. They will practice structures like what room is this? Where in the house do you have a sofa? Now these structures are to be seen as chunks. The material used for this lesson are magazine catalogs that have pictures of household objects. They will also use large sheets of paper, construction paper, and blank paper. They will also be using colors, markers, or crayons. Moving on to the actual lesson, the teacher activates schemata by writing separate shapes on the board. The students will have to guess what they can make out of these shapes, the image being a house. From my perspective, this is a good warm-up because it is something that students want to decipher. Maybe I would add a little competition to whomever finishes first, because this will get them more interested towards the lesson. The next stage of this lesson is teaching vocabulary. Here, the teacher has pictures of each room of the house. The teacher will have a drawing of an empty house on the board. The teacher will show a picture and elicit or teach the rooms of the house. Then, the teacher will have one student come up to the board and paste the picture in one of the rooms. The teacher will use concept-checking questions and have choral repetition 3 times. This is for students to become and know what specific aim each room has or use. I think this is a good way to teach vocabulary because it is very visual and have students moving. This covers all 3 learning styles, for those who like to see, for those who like to move, and also for those who like to hear. I also think this leaves students with a clear understanding of vocabulary. Next, the teacher will move on and play rooms of the house, quiz. Here students will be in groups and elect a captain. The captain will write down the questions dictated by the teacher. The rest of the group will help the captain answer the questions. In my opinion, I think this is a good activity, but if it's carried out like this, I don't think all students will participate. I think again, maybe making it into a competition will have all students participating to achieve getting all questions right. The following step for this lesson plan is for students to make rooms of the house posters. Here students will be put into groups with a large piece of cardboard, glue, scissors, and colors. They will also be given a magazine or catalogs with images of household objects. The teacher will assign each group a room, it being a bedroom, kitchen, and so on. They should write the name at the top of the cardboard. The students start looking and cutting around for household objects that go with the room they were assigned. The students will need to write the name of things they found. They can use a tablet or computer in order to name the things that they have found. For example, if they found a towel and they don't know the name for the towel, they can look it up online. I believe this is an excellent activity because it involves lots of arts and crafts. However, students need to work together. It is also interesting because they can investigate. The only disadvantage I see is that some teachers don't have the resources for them to use a tablet or a computer. In this case, maybe a picture dictionary would be of use for them. The next part is to play Touch the Picture. The teacher needs to make space and have all students in the middle of the classroom. The teacher goes to each poster and does choral drilling of each room poster. The teacher will then say a word like shower, and students have to rush to the bathroom. They have to say the room. The teacher does this several times with different rooms. I think if the teacher doesn't have a good control over the group or a good classroom management, it will turn into chaos. This is due to the fact that students can start pushing or even get hurt. At the same time, it is a well-scaffolded lesson because it builds up the steps to identify the word and objects inside each room. For students who had different rooms, they are able to hear the word and see the object. I think this is very interesting because in this activity, the teacher covers more vocabulary for students for them to see. Finally, students are handed out a blank sheet of paper with colors, crayons, or markers. They will draw a picture of their house and of their rooms inside their house. Students can use the posters around the room to write words or draw pictures that they can use for their own house. When finished, students will share with their classmates their picture that they have drawn. I think this is a good way to end the lesson because it is very personalized for students. They also have the opportunity to show their house around to other classmates. Again, they also have the opportunity to use different vocabulary that were shown in class, like household objects. In my conclusion, I believe that this was a very dynamic lesson because students were constantly moving, and another good thing is that students were constantly working together for one main goal. This lesson was very interesting for students because, again, they had to guess, they had to work together, they were able to play around, and students had the urge to complete something. I also think this lesson was made very personalized because at the end they made a product where they had to draw their own house and think critically about what objects they have seen in their house, and maybe they can write the name in their drawing with the vocabulary that they have seen in the classroom. And I think overall this was a good lesson plan. That would be all for today.